President Trump announced a one-month postponement of the 25% tariffs on many Canadian imports, now set to take effect on April 2nd. This decision came after discussions with Canadian officials and concerns from various industries. In response, Canadian Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc stated that Canada would delay its planned second wave of retaliatory tariffs, valued at $125 billion, until April 2nd. The initial tariffs, targeting $30 billion worth of U.S. goods, remain in effect. Among the various actions taken by different provinces, British Columbia's response stands out due to its unique position as a critical link between the U.S. mainland and Alaska. British Columbia is set to introduce legislation that would allow the province to impose tolls on commercial vehicles traveling to Alaska in response to U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs. This is about sending a clear message to the President, to Alaska's Republican congressional representatives, and to the state's Republican governor, said BC Premier David Eby on Thursday. The proposed legislation would also enable BC to require that low-carbon fuel additives for gasoline and diesel be produced in Canada. Additionally, it would provide the province with new tools to eliminate internal trade barriers as Canada seeks to lessen its dependence on the U.S. Despite Trump scaling back some tariffs on North American trade partners, Eby insisted that Canada should maintain its countermeasures. "We will not tolerate these ongoing threats and uncertainty. We're standing up for Canadians. This behavior is unacceptable, and we are making it clear to the U.S. just how frustrated we are," he said. "I say we don't back down until the president takes the threat off the table." Eby noted that while he wouldn't implement the tolls immediately, and the number of affected trucks is relatively small, the move signals the growing strain between longtime allies as Canada ramps up pressure on Trump to abandon his tariff plan. "The White House has launched a trade war we never wanted, and we must respond decisively," said Premier Eby. "These initial measures are just the beginning. In the coming weeks we will introduce additional tools to safeguard our economy against this sustained economic aggression." The BC government plans to introduce tariff response legislation in the coming days, equipping the province with new mechanisms to protect jobs, businesses, and swiftly address challenges stemming from Trump's trade war. Proposed measures include removing interprovincial trade barriers to strengthen BCS's internal economy, mandating that low-carbon fuel additives for gasoline and diesel be sourced within Canada, and implementing tolls or fees on U.S. commercial vehicles using BC infrastructure to reach Alaska. These tariffs are a serious misstep by Trump's administration, hurting families and businesses on both sides of the border, Premier Eby added. "Our government will fight for British Columbians every step of the way, and every option remains on the table." As an immediate response, the province has directed the BC Liquor Distribution Branch to halt purchases of American liquor from red states, removing those brands from public liquor store shelves. Additionally, BC government agencies and crown corporations have been instructed to prioritize Canadian goods and services. These actions are part of a broader Team Canada approach, which includes the federal government's 25% tariffs on $155 billion worth of U.S. imports, alongside countermeasures from other provinces and territories. To reduce reliance on U.S. trade, BC is aggressively pursuing new markets and accelerating approvals for major investment projects. The initial wave of projects, valued at $20 billion, will create an estimated 8,000 jobs, particularly benefiting rural and remote communities. To ensure a coordinated and effective response, Premier Eby has established a Trade and Economic Security Task Force bringing together leaders from business, labor, and Indigenous communities. Additionally, a task force on agriculture and the food economy will work to safeguard BC's food supply. A BC Softwood Advisory Council is also developing a diplomatic and trade strategy to defend BC's interests in the ongoing softwood lumber dispute. A newly formed cabinet committee will oversee the government's comprehensive response. With these measures, British Columbia is taking bold steps to protect its economy, workers, and businesses from the impact of U.S. tariffs, while strengthening trade and economic resilience for the future. What is Canada's role? Canada plays a crucial role in connecting Alaska to the rest of the United States, as Alaska is a geographical exclave, meaning it is not directly connected to the contiguous U.S. by land. The vast Canadian territory between Alaska and the rest of the United States serves as a necessary transit region for travel, trade, and infrastructure. One of the most significant connections between Alaska and the lower 48 states is the Alaska Highway, also known as the Alcan Highway. This vital roadway stretches from Dawson Creek in British Columbia, Canada, and extends all the way to Delta Junction, Alaska. Constructed during World War II to provide a secure supply route for military operations, the highway remains the primary overland connection between Alaska and the rest of the U.S. Despite the improvements over the decades, much of the route still passes through rugged and remote landscapes, requiring travelers to drive through several hundred miles of Canadian territory before reaching Alaska. Beyond road transportation, air travel also relies heavily on Canada's geographical position. Many flights between Alaska and other U.S. states pass through Canadian airspace, and some even make stops in Canadian cities. Canada's air traffic control systems play an essential role in managing the movement of aircraft traveling between Alaska and destinations across the United States. The cooperation between American and Canadian aviation authorities ensures the smooth operation of these air routes. Trade and commerce further emphasize Canada's role in linking Alaska with the rest of the United States. Although there is no direct railway connecting Alaska to the lower 48 states, rail and freight services frequently transport goods through Canada. The Port of Vancouver in British Columbia is a major transit hub for shipments moving to and from Alaska. Many essential supplies, including food, fuel, and construction materials, are transported through Canadian ports and railways before reaching their final destinations in Alaska. For those traveling between Alaska and the contiguous United States by car or truck, crossing the Canadian border is unavoidable. The United States and Canada maintain close diplomatic relations that facilitate relatively easy border crossings, particularly for trade, tourism, and personal travel. However, travelers must adhere to Canadian customs and immigration regulations, ensuring that their documentation is in order before passing through the country. Another key aspect of the connection between Alaska and the rest of the United States through Canada is energy infrastructure. Alaska is rich in natural resources, particularly oil and natural gas, and Canada provides crucial transit routes for these resources to reach American and international markets. Pipelines and shipping routes allow the transportation of Alaskan energy products through Canada, supporting both the U.S. economy and global energy demands. Alaska maintains a strong economic and logistical relationship with Canada, playing a crucial role in trade, transportation, and connectivity. The exchange of goods between Alaska and Canada is significant, with over $1 billion worth of trade occurring annually. Of this, approximately $596 million is exported from Alaska to Canada, while $753 million in goods are imported into Alaska from Canada. This trade supports industries such as energy, seafood, and manufacturing, ensuring a steady flow of essential commodities between the two regions. In addition to land-based transportation, marine shipping plays a vital role in the movement of goods and people between Alaska and Canada. The Inside Passage, a scenic and strategically important coastal waterway, connects southeastern Alaska with British Columbia. This route is heavily utilized for commercial shipping, tourism, and passenger travel. Regular ferry operations, including those managed by the Alaska Marine Highway System and BC Ferries, facilitate transportation between Alaskan and Canadian coastal communities. These ferry services not only enhance trade but also provide a crucial link for residents, particularly in remote regions where road access is limited. Let's take a quick pause. If you've enjoyed the video so far, could we ask a small favor? Hitting the like button helps us reach a broader audience, and sharing your thoughts or feedback in the comments makes an even bigger impact. Thank you for watching. Now, let's dive back in. Premier Tim Houston strongly condemned the tariffs, calling Trump short-sighted and reckless. In response, Nova Scotia is implementing several measures, banning American businesses from bidding on provincial government contracts and reviewing existing agreements, doubling tolls for U.S. commercial vehicles on the Cobequid Pass, removing U.S.-made alcoholic products from Nova Scotia Liquor Corporation stores, allocating a contingency fund in the 2025 to 2026 budget to counter tariff impacts. Beyond immediate actions, Houston emphasized strengthening domestic trade, eliminating internal Canadian trade barriers and expanding global market opportunities. He assured Nova Scotians that his government would continue to defend their interests, urging residents to support Canadian businesses. Premier Danielle Smith labeled the tariffs an unjustifiable economic attack and warned they would backfire on both nations, increasing prices and job losses. While supporting the federal government's countermeasures, she announced that Alberta would unveil